Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow, it's great to be here with you. I was back in the green room and I was watching the Diamonds come out and be recognized. Congratulations to all of you. Are you having a good time this week? I'm going to sit here and let's take a moment and let's get acquainted. My name is John. On the count of three, give me your name. 1, 2, 3.
Matthew!
Nice to meet you. My wife Margaret and I, as of last week, have been married for 44 years. We have 2 children, 5 grandchildren. You're all young, you have no clue. But trust me, you've got children, let them live. If you let them live, they'll give you grandchildren. And once you have a grandbaby, my God, once you that first grandchild you hold in your arms, you look at that baby and you say, wow. This is the most beautiful, intelligent baby ever born. I mean, no one has to tell you, you know that for a fact. And then you look at that grandbaby and you ask yourself the question, why did intelligence skip a generation? I was speaking at a large convention recently, and I told that story, and I forgot that my son Joel, yeah, he was in the audience. And when I finished, I went back to the green room, and he was there waiting on me. And I looked at him, I said, Joel, honey, you know when I was talking about grandchildren, intelligence, given generation, you know I was having fun with the crowd. You know I was kidding, don't you? He said, yeah. I said, it's okay, Dad. He said, I think you're right. So what do you mean? He said, I think you're right about intelligence given a generation. There we go. Sorry. I said, you do? He said, yeah. I said, just last week, Grandpa and I had that very same discussion. I'm so excited to be here with you today, and you have come because you want to grow, you want to learn. I thank Beachbody for allowing me to be here. What a great organization, what a great company you are part of. And I know you're proud, and I know you're here learning, but I came for one reason. I came to improve your life. I came to put some stuff in you that has potential to not only help you be a success in this organization, but just to help you be a success in life. And so if you'll allow me, I'd like to dive in. I mean, because you came to learn, and I want to teach. So can we get going? Is that all right? Look at your neighbor and say to them, you're about to learn something. Go ahead and tell them that. Look right back at the person just told you that and say, and it's about time. In fact, why do you think I brought you here? You know what I mean? Why do you think you're here at this conference? I want to talk to you about a book that came out recently that's been a #1 New York Times bestseller list for several weeks, called the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Okay? Now those 2 or 3 people on the screen, they have got the book. Either that or they just like to scream. Sometimes they just like to scream. But let me talk to you for a second. I'm for the next 60 minutes, I'm going to give you stuff that has potential to truly change your life in a positive way. So I want you to get your paper or get your iPad and let's go. In fact, look at your neighbor and say, take good notes, okay? And tell them, don't mess around here, okay? Yeah. You're ready, aren't you? I'm ready. Fasten your seatbelts. We're getting ready for a ride, okay? Getting ready for a ride. You see, if I could come off stage and I could just talk one-on-one with you, okay? Just you and me. No one else, not 8,000, whatever here. Just you and me. And if I had 30 minutes with you personally, privately, and you looked at me and said, John, you understand success. Well, would you help me? What would you say to me that would help me to be successful in my life? I would ask you 2 questions. And these 2 questions will determine more the level of your success, not only in Beachbody, but in life, than any other 2 questions you'll ever ask yourself. The first question, if I could walk in your life, is I would ask you, what are you doing to develop yourself? In other words, what are you doing personally to get better? How are you growing you? What are you doing to grow yourself? In a moment, I'm going to begin to lay out the laws of growth for you. But I'm here to tell you that 99% of you here probably do not have a personal growth plan. A plan of which you commit yourself on a daily basis to grow yourself, which would lead me to the second question: what are you doing to develop others? What are you doing to develop your team? What are you doing to develop your inner circle? What are you doing to develop the people around you? What kind of a team are you building? Because in developing others, you compound everything. You compound time, you compound energy, you compound money, you compound influence. Everything compounds the moment that you learn how to develop other people. All highly successful people understand that principle. And so therefore they realize that what they're learning, they've got to pass on to others. And how they're growing, they've got to teach others how to grow. And they realize that you cannot take others where you haven't been yourself. And so what are you doing to grow yourself? And what are you doing to grow others? What are you doing to develop you? What are you doing to develop your team? Those are the 2 questions. And in the 15 laws of growth, I lay out laws that are that they pass culture. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what your business is. They're laws. They're not principles. They're not good ideas. They've been tested. I have a grid to test what is a law and what is not a law. But the laws work. The laws work every time. That's what I want you to hear. They work every time. They work every time. They work with every person. I have the largest leadership training organization in the world, Equip. We've trained 6 million leaders in 175 countries.
Bless you.
Is it safe to continue? Nothing like Las Vegas, is there? Huh? Like Vegas. And these laws, I had a guy come up to me one time, and after I'd written the 21 Laws of Leadership, and he said, John, I don't like one of your laws. And I was signing books. I said, that's okay. And I kept signing books. I mean, and it bothered him. It was okay that he didn't like one of my laws. So he told me, he said, no, he said, I want you to understand, I don't like one of your laws. I said, it's okay. And he's just standing there, he didn't move it. He said, no. He said, one of the laws, I disagree with one of your 21 laws. So I stopped and I said, it seems to me it's very important for you that I know that you don't like one of the laws, and I just want you to know it's okay. And he said, well, it's not okay with me. I said, look, let me explain something, sir. I said, I didn't write the book to make you happy. I wrote the book to help you. I'm a leader, not a clown. And I can truly care where, it doesn't bother me at all if you like one of the laws. It's like a person saying, I don't like the law of gravity. Just go up to a 4-story building and jump off. You see, immediately you'll buy the law. See, the laws never ask you if you like them. The laws say use them. Take them in your life. Because they'll truly change your life. And I'm not going to be able to do all 15 laws. Of course I'm not going to do all 15. I don't have time to do 15. I mean, that takes a day to do the 15 laws, okay? We've got an hour. So I'm going to give you maybe 4. Besides, why would I give you all 15 laws? You wouldn't buy the book. I've been doing this a long time, folks. Been doing this a long time. Okay. So let's get going. Law number 1 is the law of intentionality. And the law of intentionality just says very simply, growth doesn't just happen. Because can I tell you something? Most people think growth just happens. My life changed in 1974 when I was having breakfast at the Holiday Inn in Lancaster, Ohio, and a man by the name of Kurt Kampmeyer looked at me and he said, John, what is your plan for personal growth and development? I'm in my early 20s. I'm a young leader. Things are going pretty good. And I'm a little embarrassed because as a young leader, I thought I always had to have an answer. And so when he asked me what my plan for personal growth was, I began to talk to him about how hard I worked and the things I did. And he just listened very quietly, probably for 10 minutes. I was kind of like a plane circling an airfield. Are you with me? And it's trying to come in for a landing, going round and around. And if I don't have anything else to say, so I just shut up and land that sucker. And as soon as I finished talking, he looked at me and said, "You don't have a plan, do you?" I said, "No, I don't have a plan." Then he said the words that changed my life. He said, "Growth is not an automatic process. You will not grow automatically. You will not get better automatically. It doesn't happen. You see, after we are born, the only thing that's automatic is that we die. That's automatic. You don't have to take a course on this. You don't have to go to a seminar. I mean, just hang long enough, you die, okay? It's automatic. Trust me on that. You don't have to work it. But especially in things that are important in your life, things that are going to be seeds of success in your life, they are all uphill. They're uphill all the way. You can tell you're on the road to success. It's always uphill. It's never even. It's never down. It's always uphill. There's always intentionality. There is always effort. And so I started talking to my friends, and I began to ask them, okay, I've got to have a plan for growth. And so I went to my friends for the next 6 months. If I ask this question once, I ask it 500 times. I look at people and I'd say, what? Yeah, I go to my friends, do you have a personal growth plan? And I got 500 no's. And all of a sudden it hit me. We go through life thinking that we automatically will improve. That was life-changing to me. So by my mid-20s, I developed my own personal growth plan. And I can tell you that 95% of everything I have in my life, 95% of what I know, everything that I know in leadership is a result of one day I committed myself to daily work a personal growth plan in my life. And the law, this is an amazing law because this law just says you have to be intentional in things that you need to do to be successful. Okay. James Allen. James Allen, in his book, As a Man Thinketh, said these words. He said, people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but they're not anxious to improve themselves. And they therefore remain bound. I'll repeat it, it's powerful. It's not mine, it's James Allen's. People are anxious to improve their circumstances, but they're not anxious to improve themselves, and so he said they remain bound. Why do they remain bound? Because they don't understand. You can't fix the outside, you've got to fix the inside. You can't control the outside, you've got to control the inside. You start on the inside, you grow first. You don't try to fix all the stuff around you and not fix yourself. You cannot travel without until you first travel within. That's a fact. And I run into people all the time. They want their problem solved. They want an easier way to success in business. And what they don't understand is that they're looking for gimmicks, they're looking for shortcuts, they're looking for secrets. I love the people that want to give you secrets to success. Dear God, help them. There are no secrets to success. It's so simple, it's so basic. I'll give it to you later. James Allen understood. By the way, I read that book when I was in the 7th grade. As a Man Thinketh. It's a classic. It's 72 pages. I read it every year. I have it memorized. It's a classic. You see, I grew up reading all the great success books. Because my father paid us, I'm the middle child, he paid the 3 of us. Our allowance was based on reading good books. All of my friends got paid an allowance for doing chores. And so when my dad said, Phil and Bob, these guys, they get paid to do chores. I think that's a good idea. How about paying me to do chores around the house? That's a terrible idea. He said, I don't pay you to do chores because you're part of a family, and I don't pay you to be part of a family. So let me explain it this way, that by the time you were born, John, you already owed your mother for 9 months of room and board. shut up and take out the garbage. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, why would I pay you to take out the garbage unless I wanted you to grow up and be a garbage man? He said, I put my money where my values are. And we were required from the 7th grade on to read 30 minutes a day of required reading, of which he put the books in our hands. I can tell you, well, by the time my brother graduated from college, he was already a millionaire. By the time I was 28, I had the 10th largest nonprofit organization in the country. By the time my sister was 27, she ran a hospital. Listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. Not brilliant kids, kids that were exposed at a very young age to all the success principles. I was reading Success Magazine. I was flying down to Rio 2 or 3 years ago in Success Magazine. They had the 25 most important books you could read to be successful. I thought, what a wonderful article, and I read it. And then I decided to go back and count the books of the 25 that I had read. 19 of the 25 books that you have to read to be successful, I had already read, devoured, underlined, studied by the time I graduated from high school. 19 of the 25. Wow. No wonder. No, it wasn't even a race, folks. It is the fastest person doesn't win the race. It's the person who starts first. Speed is overrated. Getting started is underrated. Especially getting started first. And what my father did is my father understood that if I can put the good stuff in my kids' lives, and I tell you that because some of you are parents. I did that for my children. I now do that for my grandchildren. They're on a reading program. Of course they're on a reading program. I pay them. We talk about the books. So As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, I grew up every year. I read that book from 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. By the time I graduated from high school, I said, this is the book I need to read every year. It's only 72 pages. There's nothing to it. And now what am I saying? Here's what I'm saying. What are you doing right now to intentionally grow yourself? What are you doing today to truly get better? It's a huge question. And if I could walk off the stage, if I could walk off the stage and we could just interact, I would say to you, the most important thing that you can do, the most important thing you can do is when you leave this conference, is to get yourself on a personal growth plan. It changed my life. I'm still on personal growth. I'm 66. I'm still on a personal growth plan. Law number two. Law number two. Law number two. The law of the mirror. The law of the mirror says you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. It's a huge law. In fact, it's so important I'm going to sit down and talk to you, okay? Let's just sit down together here. You've got to see value. When you look in the mirror, you've got to see value in yourself to add value to yourself. If you don't see much value in you, you won't put much time in you. You won't put much energy in you. You won't put much money in you. You won't bet on yourself. If you don't see much value in you won't bet on yourself. You know what? If you don't see much value in you, you want somebody else to bet on you. You want somebody else to sponsor you. This is a law on self-image. And the law on self-image basically says, as you see yourself, you'll place value on yourself. And as you see others, you'll place value on them. So if you have a low self-image, you won't put much into you. And if you have a low self-image, you won't put much into others. I know that for a fact. I see it all the time. I watch and I observe people. And one of the greatest things you can do is begin to see value in yourself. And one of the great things I love about Beachbody, one of the great things I love about this type of an organization is they begin to help you see that you have potential and that you can succeed. And I love that when one of the diamonds was saying, I listen to me, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And all she was trying to do was just to kind of help you to understand that you're a person of worth, that you're a person of potential. And if you see yourself as a person of worth, you'll bet on yourself. But if you don't see yourself as a person of worth, you won't bet on you. And what's sad is no one else will. Your self-image is the lid on your potential. And if you see yourself from a 1 to a 10 as a 4, you see yourself as below average. If this is my self-image right here, let me tell you something. My self-image will never allow It will never allow me to get beyond who I think I am, what I think I can become. My self-image literally is the lid on my potential. It doesn't matter whether I'm at Beachbody or any other organization. My self-image is my lid, and my lid will not move until I move my self-image. Now, my name's John, and I'm your friend. And trust me, I know what it is to develop people. We've trained 6 million of them in 175 countries. I understand this game very well. I understand it very well. And what I want you to hear from me now is the fact that you are selling yourself short. That you have better potential than what you realize, and you have greater worth than what you understand. And if you can hear anything about my message today, my message is that you were created. God created you for a purpose, with a purpose to be successful. And I want you to understand that whatever number you've got on your life, that number is where you're going to, if you got a 6 on your life, can I tell you something? You're going to do 5 work. You're not going to do 7 work. You're not going to do 8 work. If you've got a 6 self-image, listen to me very carefully. The most important thing you can do in your life to grow is to lift your own self-image lid. Now, how do you do that? Number 1, you lift your own self-image lid when every day you add value to somebody. When every day you add value to someone else, you begin to lift your self-image lid. Trust me on this. It's a fact. Every day I wake up and I ask myself a very simple question. I've done this for years. Every day I wake up and I ask myself this question: what can I do to add value to people? And who can I add value to? Every day I intentionally ask myself that question. And every day I purposefully, intentionally add value to someone. When I was having breakfast at my hotel this morning, there was an individual that I had seen every morning, and so I went over and introduced myself and asked them for 5 minutes of their time, and I just sat down and I shared with them that I had watched them as they walked around the people, and they had a good presence about them, and I just told them, I just wanted to know how much they'd add value to me every time I came down for breakfast. They just had a smile, and I just poured myself into this young lady for 5 minutes. She walked away. I could tell. Well, I was adding value. You'll increase your self-image when you give yourself away. You see, Robert Louis Stevenson said, I determine success by how many seeds I sow daily. He said, it's the seeds I sow daily, not the harvest I reap. Most people, they're looking for the harvest. And I'm telling you today, forget the harvest. Just start sowing seeds. Just start adding value. I've done it for many, many years. I understand. There's a huge return. But if you just sow seeds, if you just add value every day, it'll do something that will unbelievably add value to you. And it will increase your self-image. Let me tell you something else that will increase your self-image. Every day, do the right thing, even though it's the hard thing. I've observed and I've watched people that have a good self-image. They don't cave. They don't follow peer pressure. They make their own decisions, and they make the right decisions. Even when it's the hard decisions, they don't back away from them. Wow. Your self-image will so greatly determine your growth. Law number 3. Before I give you law number 3, let me ask you a question. Are you learning something?
Yes.
Then we'll continue. Look at your neighbor and say, are you learning something? Ask your neighbor right now.
Oh, yeah. Hey, sorry.
Look right back at him and say, not enough yet. Dear God, you only had 2 laws. There are a whole 13 out there you don't even have a clue about. You can't write fast enough. You gotta buy the book. That's the reason I go fast. I don't expect you to keep up.
first either. That's why I got a camera.
Law number three is the law of awareness. The law of awareness says you must know yourself to grow yourself. Oh my gosh. If you're really going to grow you've got to know you. You've got to know yourself to grow yourself. You see, if you and I could have this personal conversation, one of the things I would ask you is what are your strengths? You see, every one of you in the auditorium, you have, 2, maybe 3, probably not, but could be 4 strengths.
1.
4 is a little heavy, probably 2 or 3 is your number.
2.
Okay? 3 is my number. I thought it was 4. Margaret and I were having breakfast the other day talking about it. She said, no, it's 3. I figured, then I'll be 2, then I'll be 1, and then they just bury me, okay? But you have strength. And one of the questions I would ask you if you and I were talking is I would ask you, let's talk about your strength. Now I'm talking now about giftedness. I'm talking now about ability. I'm talking about how you are wired. This is not something that you chose. This is you. This is in your DNA. You have a strength. I have it. And what I'm saying to you is, in this area, you've got to know yourself to grow yourself. One of the things I want you to understand is you have to know what your strengths are. Because whatever your strengths are, that's what you want to grow. In the area of abilities, listen carefully to me, in the area of your abilities, you have to work on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Most people, because of our culture, they work on their weaknesses. When you're in school, you got an A in math, you got a C in English, what do they tell you to work on? They told you to work on your what?
English.
Get that grade up, get that C, get that up to a B, work on that weakness. I'm saying if you got an A in math and a C on English, work on your math. Forget your English. You were probably lucky to get a C. Teacher probably liked you and bumped you up to grade. Now, why did you get an A in math and a C in English? Because you have a math mind, not a word mind, not a language mind. Exactly. It's not dumb. It's not right or wrong. It's just who you are. Your strength is math. It's not English. And see, all of your life, you and I have been taught to work on our weaknesses. And I'm here to say, don't work on your weaknesses. And you say, John, why shouldn't I work on my weaknesses? It's because you're weak. In your weaknesses. In other words, again, my name's John. I'm your friend. You're not any good at it. I'm here to set you free. You can only increase a gift or an ability 2 numbers. Not 10, folks. 2. So let's say I'm below average. I'm a 3 in something, okay? And I say, okay, I'm going to really work on this because I'm really below average. And so I work hard. And so let's say, for example, I love music. There's a problem. I can't sing. But I love music. So I said, well, I want to be a great singer. I would love to be, hey, I'm in Vegas. Hello? I'd like to sing. So what do? I'm not good at it. I'm a 3. So I get a teacher. I take music appreciation. I pour money and time and effort. And for the next 2 years, I take all this music stuff. And can I tell you, 2 years after that, maybe I went from a 3 to a 4. Can I tell you, I'm still below average. Now listen to me very carefully. This is very important. People don't pay for average. People don't pay for, and I'm absolutely amazed at how many people love average. I mean, I just look at them and I say, why are you so in love with average? Average is average, and everyone is average. Do you want to be everyone? Do you just want to be average all your life? It's just average, and average is never going to be success. Nobody gets excited about average. You don't get excited about average. You don't say, man, I just love that TV show. It's so average. Let's go. Oh, dear God. We're in Vegas. I heard there was a concert down there that was just really average. You don't stand in line for average. You don't pay for average. You don't look at your friend after you both worked hard and said, hey, let's go out to dinner. Hey, let's find an average restaurant. And you don't go to the average restaurant. When they start to seat, you say, oh, we just want an average table. I know there's the ones over there by the windows, the water in the lake. We don't want that. We want an average, just an average table. And then when the waiter comes, we don't look and say, are you average? We would like to have an average. We don't want, if you're good, we don't want you. We'd like it. Do you take the order and then not tell it to the kitchen? And then we remind you 30 minutes later we haven't had our food. You say, oops, and then you bring the wrong food back because we like that too. And by the way, when we're talking about the menu, what do you have that's average here? We don't want to know what your specialty is. Do you have something nobody's ordered today? Now you don't go sit at an average table, have an average meal with an average waiter in an average restaurant, and walk out of that place and you look at that friend and you say, I am pumped, but we must come back here. No. Listen to me, folks. People don't pay for average. And if you work on your weaknesses in the area of abilities, you'll only be average. But let's say you're a 7, maybe you're above average in something, and so now this is a strength of yours, and so you work on it, and you can go from a 7 to an 8. You could even maybe get to be a 9. Can I tell you something? When you get in that top 20%, when you get 9 and 10, people stand in line for 9s. They pay for 9s all day. And you see, if you work on your strengths, in the area of your abilities and your giftedness, you'll really grow and you'll do really well and you'll be very successful. So when you get your growth plan together, and when you say, okay, I'm going to start growing, you got to grow in the area of your strengths. You got to grow in the areas that you're good at. I'm good at communication, I'm good at leadership, and I'm good at creativity. Those are my 3 strengths. And I spend all my time growing in those areas. I don't spend time on other things and abilities and gifts I don't have. Why would I do that? I'm not going to be any good at it at all. I love to play golf, but I'm like a 12 handicap. I'm not a real good golfer. But I love to play. But I'm never going to be a scratch golfer. Like when I play golf with a guy and he hits a bad shot and he kind of gets mad, I look at him and say, excuse me, you're getting a little upset here. Do you do this for a living? No. I said, thank God. You're not any good.
It's average.
Your problem is you're too close to the ball after you hit it. If you didn't get that, you don't belong here.
If you didn't get that, you just had.
Now, I said, work on your strengths in the area of your abilities. You heard that, didn't you? Now, let me tell you what you work on. You said, should I work on your weak areas? Yes, let me tell you where you work on your weaknesses. In areas of choices. In areas of choices, work on your weaknesses. In areas of ability, which is not your choice, it's just who you are, work on your strengths. So you say, what's a choice? Well, discipline's a choice. If you're not a disciplined person, you better work on it real strong. Because you can't be successful in this business if you're not disciplined. Attitude, that's a choice. Of course it's a choice. Now let me in areas that are not choice, in areas of strengths like gifts and abilities I've talked to you about, in areas that are not choices, the growth is incremental, it's slow, and it's not large. It's 2 numbers. In areas of choices, the growth is fast and it's exponential. You can go, literally, in areas of choices, you can go from a 1 to a 10 because it's a choice. If you're not disciplined, and one day you say, I can't be a success in this business. I'm listening to all these diamonds. They're disciplined people. I'm an undisciplined person. I've got to get disciplined to be good at this business. Now that's a choice. You can be a 1 today, and in 3 months you can be a 10. You see, in areas of choices, growth is dramatic, growth is fast. In areas that are not choices, growth is slow, it's incremental, and it's not big. So in areas of weaknesses, you work on those in choices. In areas of strength, such as abilities, you work on those. And that, see, you've got to know yourself to grow yourself. So you don't want to work on everything, because you can work on some things and never get any better. I told you a little bit earlier, I play golf, and I love to play golf, but I'm not really good at golf. I have these people who say, well, practice more. Practice, I love the expression, practice makes perfect, practice makes perfect. What idiot said that? Can I tell you something? If you're not gifted in an area and you practice, it doesn't make you perfect. Practice makes permanent. In other words, if I practice my golf swing, it just means that my slice always the ball goes in the same part of the woods every time. Work on your strengths in the area of ability. Work on your weaknesses in the area of choices. You must know yourself to grow yourself. That's the law of awareness. Let me give you law number 4. Law number 4 is the most important law to me, maybe not to you, of all the 15 laws of growth. I awarded this law to the other law, so I want to make sure I taught this today. It's the law of consistency. And the law of consistency says that motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. That motivation is what you come here, you come to your conference here, your Beachbody conference, and you hear all these speakers and you see what they've done, and you say, boy, I want to be just like them, and I want to be successful, I want to help people, I want to do well. You get motivated. It has nothing to do with your success when you get home. You do understand that, don't you? That wears off in about 2 days. And you can say, wow, I was really going to work on this business. Well, it feels good today as I did yesterday. Wow, boy, they need to call another conference. This annual stuff isn't enough. My dear God, we need to do this weekly. We need to have a weekly. I just need a weekly pump up. Whoa, 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 whoa. By the way, I'm a motivational teacher, not a motivational speaker. Motivational speakers make you feel good, but the next day you don't know why. You just walk around and say, "Ooh, I feel good. Woo, I feel good. I have no clue. Don't know what to do with it." You see, a motivational teacher, they make you feel good, but the next day you know why. If the stuff you are writing down now, if you'll just take this 3 days from now, it works just as good as it does right today. Trust me, folks. I determined a long time ago I wanted people to enjoy what I said, but I was going to make sure that I said something that could change their life. And the law of consistency will change your life. Now we overlook this law. The reason we overlook this law is because it's not sexy. I mean, consistency. I mean, if somebody said, "Can I just sit down for a moment and let's just have lunch?" I just look up to you so much, and you've taught me so many things, and there are so many things that are wonderful about you. Can I just talk about you and how wonderful you are? And you say, "Oh, yeah, I have time." Take 4 or 5 hours, go ahead. But just think how disappointed you are when they start to talk about how wonderful you are, and the first thing comes out of their mouth is, the thing I love about you is you are so consistent. Now you had 10 adjectives. Consistent wasn't one of them. Isn't that true? You see, this is an amazing law, but we want to look over it because you see, when the diamonds are up here and they're getting recognized, and everybody's clapping and cheering and they're doing all this stuff. By the way, You say, now when did that old man die? After 20 push-ups on stage. Now here's the point. Consistency wins the day. I've been teaching leadership since 1974, almost 40 years. That's consistent. I've been writing books since 1979. That's consistent. I've been developing CDs and DVDs and resources since 1982. That's consistent. In other words, this consistency stuff, it really works. And the problem in so many of these kind of businesses is you jump in for the quick fix. You say, okay, I'm going to give Beachbody a try. Yes, I am. And I'm going to just give it my best effort for
a week.
6 months. All right, I'll wait a year to go diamond. Listen to me, folks. The secret of every one of the people's successes on the stage is they do every day the things they should do to be a success. And they keep on doing. For example, he'll come to me all the time and say, John, you sit on a stool, you got a table, you get a cough drop in your mouth, you get your water, and you talk to people, and you just look so relaxed. Well, I'm relaxed. I'm not nervous. Somebody backstage said, break a leg. I said, break your own. I don't want to break your leg. Dear God, I'm too old for that. But you say, John, you just are relaxed, and you just seem so comfortable. I am. I'm not nervous. I wasn't nervous when I said it. I'm not nervous now. I'm as relaxed talking to, 7,000, whatever, as if somebody's one-on-one over the corner with me, and you and I just have a one-on-one conversation. I'm nervous. And you say, how can you just be so good? It's very simple. I've done this 12,000 times. 12,000. 12,000 times. Let me explain it this way. If I'm not good now, after 12,000 times, we have some real deep issues to discuss. You say, well, John, you just make it look so easy. Well, it's easy. It's as easy as can be. I don't mean this unkindly. It's very easy. I mean, people think I'm working now. I don't think I'm working. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying this. Working's like work. In fact, I don't even know what work is anymore. I've done this, and I love doing this. I love adding value to people, and I get work and play confused. And somebody that day said, I think you're a workaholic. I said, no. I said, I think I'm a workaholic. I just love this. I love this. And you say, oh, I wish I could do that. We can. 12,000 times from now. You'll sit on a stool. Drink water. Do push-ups. It only takes 12,000 times. Malcolm Gladwell says, nobody becomes great at anything until they've done it 10,000 times. Now, what am I saying? Look, this is consistency. I just do it. You see, by the way, I love this. I love these people who say, okay, this is my first time doing this, and I've never done this before, and John, I really want to do a good job. And I smile and say, forget it. I said, forget what? I said, forget about good job. What do you mean forget about good job? It's your first time. Listen to me carefully. My name's John. I'm your friend. Listen. Nobody's good the first time. Nobody's good the first time. You weren't good the first time you tried to talk. You didn't one day just get up and start talking in sentences to your parents. You just said one word.
for you for the next 2 months. You weren't any good when you first started. And when you started walking, you weren't any good. You didn't get up and say, I want to walk a block with my family today. You took a step and you fell down. Listen to me. I'm your friend. You're not good the first time. So quit worrying about being good.